Going live. Hey, you're live.
Sports fans, welcome to Sports in Layman's terms. I'm your guy, Willie So-So, and to my left, we have...
Only motherfucker on the panel. Work in progress.
We're going to get him a name, y'all.
Hold on. That's my
name.
name. I'm sticking with that name because if you in your life ain't a work in progress, what the fuck are you working for?
Fair enough. As stated, this is Sports in Layman's terms, the show where we take sports topics, minus the coach speak, minus the spin, and give you our opinion. Just a bunch of guys at the bar talking sports, just like you. We're at our favorite watering hole, Snooker's Livonia. And this week, well, I guess we got to talk free agency.
Yep.
And trades in the NBA. Or not, because apparently everybody decided that they wanted to go back to their own teams. Draymond, free agent, went back to the Warriors.
He was going nowhere.
Kyrie Irving, free agent, back to the Mavs.
Had no choice.
You might be right about that. Who else? Who else am I missing? Chris Middleton, back to the Bucks.
He wasn't going nowhere.
Everybody thought he was going somewhere because he opted out of his contract.
He opted out of his contract to get more money.
Well, we see how that works now. Who else stayed? Who else?
Dude, you had a bunch of Sabonis.
Sabonis stayed. I swear, I've been wanting that guy to come to the Pistons for the past 2 years.
Why?
Because we need him.
We got James Wiseman. #1 pick.
You said that with a straight face.
He ain't had an opportunity yet. Give him an opportunity. And y'all believe so much in Monty. Goddamn it, let him see what he do.
I don't believe in Monty. I'm gonna give him some leeway. I'll give Monty Williams some leeway. Anyway, America, all of the big names, for the most part, save for I think like Fred VanVleet, all of the big name free agents, they re-signed with their teams. Everybody was all geeked up about how free agency was gonna go.
Maybe he's not a big name, okay.
Who?
Bruce Brown.
Yeah, like I said, all of the big names.
He won an NBA championship, got a ring.
Listen, being Tito in the Jackson 5 don't mean you the main guy.
Wow. I said the main guy, but he was a very integral part.
He was a role player.
Integral role player.
Role player nonetheless.
Man,
but all of the exciting names stayed put. So
I wanted out there though that will probably be moving.
Who's that?
Damian Lillard.
Well, not a free agent, but that's what we're stuck with now. Now we're trying to figure out where all these people that want to get traded are going. And that's where we're really opening the show up. Because, well, for the first time in his life, it appears that Dame Lillard is in his right mind and has requested a trade.
Wow, that's crazy.
So
why would you say first time in his life?
Because has he ever requested a trade?
No, because they was all on the same page. Now that they picked up Scotty Henderson.
Let me ask you.
Name?
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. Yeah. Starting with Dame, as far as trades are concerned, prior to this year, should have he requested a trade?
Shit, in my opinion, 5 years ago she requested that goddamn trade.
Okay then. So,
but I stand by my. I'm not loyal to the Portland like Trump as he was. He was loyal to him. He put the Kevin Garnett,
who also stayed too long where he was at, but he finally came to his senses too.
I agree.
So since we're starting with say Dame, there are 3 spots where the trade rumors have him going: Miami Heat, New York Knicks, and Philadelphia 76ers.
Hey, they threw the Boston Celtics in there the other day.
Yeah, I guess must have been a slow news day. That's not happening.
Well, why does that happen?
Because I don't think they can afford that. I don't think nobody on the planet can afford Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Dame Lillard.
They had Kevin Garnett.
That was 15 years ago.
I made a mistake. My mistake. They had Kevin Durant. Klay Thompson and Steph Curry on the same goddamn team. What do you mean they can't afford it? And Draymond Green.
That was literally like 5 years ago.
And they all was on max contracts at the time.
Well, guess what? No, they weren't on max. Nope. Klay wasn't on the max contract at the time.
Maybe not Klay.
And Dre wasn't on the max contract at the time either.
But
neither here nor there.
They was all getting paid.
Now we're short.
It was way over
and that right there might be the difference.
Tax.
So let's just go with the top 3: Philly, Miami, and New York. Which one of those you think is the best fit?
How did New York get in there though?
Huh?
How did New York get in there?
I don't know, but that's
what
man.
What do they have to offer to get named?
Look, bro. Whoever is going to trade for him is going to have to give up the grip to do it, because they're going to have to compensate Portland handsomely.
I think it's going to be a whole Kevin Durant to the Phoenix Suns trade.
And guess what?
A bag of rocks and two chains. And
a bag of rocks? Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges is a bag of rocks?
Bag of rocks, 2 chains, and let them go.
No, they're going to have to give up something nice.
What was Cam Johnson really? What was Mikal Bridges? Mikal Bridges was decent. Mikal Bridges was a good defender. That's what he was. He turned out to be a great scorer in Brooklyn, but in Phoenix he was not.
Because look who he was playing behind.
So a bag of rocks.
See, we can't even get to what we're actually talking about because you don't know a good player from a bag of rocks.
Wow, really?
There's a difference. Listen,
was he a star?
Let's start with Miami.
All right, let's start with Miami.
If Miami is going to trade for
Dame
Lillard, what do they have to give up? What would you suggest they give up in order to get him?
That's tough. They lost him.
They can't give up Gabe. Gabe is to the Lakers.
Trade to the trading asset there. They might have to give up Tyler Hero. They might have to.
Okay, Tyler Hero, and what else? Because it ain't gonna be just him.
It won't. It'll be some money involved. A couple of draft picks. Hero and Robinson.
So Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, draft compensation plus some money.
Yep.
Ironically, I would go along with that.
But giving up Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson cripples you, though.
Yeah, it does. It's going to force you to lean on people like Max Strus because he'd be the last one there, and Caleb Martin.
Yeah, I know.
That's going to be tough. But you're getting back Dame, so might even out. All right, so let's say he goes to Philly. What they got to give up?
Well, they are trying to unload James Harden.
Yeah, I think this is the easiest one.
I don't know. James Harden is a former superstar to me. Mm-hmm. He's not what he used to be, so it's not even trade for him and Dame. Nowhere near even.
Well, hold on now. First and foremost, the money matches.
The money does match.
So you don't have that hurdle to get over.
Nope.
So you mean to tell me that Harden and a couple of picks don't get it done?
No, I don't think so. I'll tell you why. You've seen Harden play the last couple of years. They've seen Harden play the last couple of years.
All right.
You just picked up your new point guard.
Who? Who talking about, Maxey?
No, I'm talking about Portland. Scoot.
Oh, Scoot Henderson.
So is Scoot? They gotta look at is Scoot and who's Scoot and Harden even mesh?
Mm-hmm. Because Harden could go back to being a shooting guard instead of trying to be this fake ass point guard they've been trying to be for the past 3 or 4 years.
But 3-4 years he played point in fucking Houston.
Fake ass point guard that he was trying to be for the past 3, 4, 5 years, however long he's been trying to do it.
He lost his step. He can't go past nobody no more. His shooting has went down every year. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is
Dame's shooting has not gone down. The motherfucker averaged 30-something points in the last year.
All I'm telling you is this. First and foremost, Portland ain't got too much to demand. Because the guy that they're trying to get rid of, the guy that has requested a trade, they're going to lose on that deal no matter what they do.
I agree.
So they're going to lose the lease.
But this is my point. That's what I say about that trade.
Lose the lease. That would be losing the lease.
This is what I say about trading Dame. I don't care about if you're Portland, this man was dedicated to you all these years. He tried to do what he needed to do. You brought in a new guy to take over. He had a discussion with them and they go in a different direction. And whatever he wants to go, make it happen. It don't have to be what I'm gonna get out of it.
And
make it happen.
And making it happen,
because you're gonna lose anyway.
Making it happen is going to require them to take lesser on the deal. And if they got Scoot Henderson, they literally get, no, James Harden is not what he once was. He's still a very, very high level shooting guard. If you don't make him do things that he's not accustomed to doing, like trying to play point.
Like play basketball?
Point guard.
No, play basketball, period.
Man, if you don't knock it off, we're not going to act like this man didn't average 20 a game. No, it wasn't the 36 a game.
20 a game with James Harden is nothing.
It's not the 36 that he was averaging in Houston, but it's still effective. And if he could play off ball, he might be able to get back to somewhere where he used to be.
I think James Harden is the type of person that if the ball in his hand, he's going to stand there and look around.
Him playing the two will probably be most, especially now that he's getting older, because he doesn't have that responsibility or as many responsibilities. Make the man the two like he was supposed to have been for his entire career, and you might see results. I think that's the easiest set of trades.
I say this. Give it a shot. I don't think it'll work. We give it a shot.
I think that would be the easiest and probably the most optimal of the trade.
I don't think New York has nothing to offer.
Okay, so, well, here's New York. Well, they got Jalen Brunson.
They're not giving him up.
Of course not. Of course you're not giving him up. But he's a legit point. Leave him at the point. Put Dame at the two. If you think he's scoring 30 as your point guard, what the hell you going to think he's going to do playing off the ball?
That's not Dame's strength, though. His strength is having the ball in his hand, making decisions, making the team better.
So if all he has to do is focus on is scoring versus facilitating, he becomes an instant super monster.
I don't think so, though.
That's like having all of the goddamn Infinity Stones in the Avengers.
Some players got to have the ball in their hand. Trust me.
He can have a ball in his hand.
Dame is one of them.
Mike Jordan was a shooting guard. He had the ball in his hands. It can happen, and it can work.
Mike Jordan came into the league small forward. He moved the shooting guard anyway.
Man, the boy was 6. Man, if you don't knock it off,
6'6".
He was literally a shooting guard for his career.
Into the league small
he
forward.
Was for half a season? Stop it. Stop it. Dame would be dope at the 2, and I think that would free him up to score even more.
So who's small forward for the Bulls? Was it Scottie Pippen? Right?
Yes.
He's only 6'7", 1 inch taller than motherfucker.
Okay, and your point is what? We're not talking about Mike Jordan. He's the greatest shooting guard of all time. That's not the point. What I'm telling you, yes, I did.
He was smoking. Anyway.
Michael Jordan isn't the greatest shooting guard of all time?
No, he's not.
I'll deal with you off air. Listen, Dame would be dope at the 2. Dope, and that's going to leave Brunson free to do what he's been doing, except for the guy that he's kicking it out to is bona fide 30 a game. So, now the question is what they'd have to give up to get him. Now, what do you think they'd give up?
Man, shoot.
I don't. There's been trade talk.
They have nothing to offer them.
Well, there's been trade talk about Julius Randle.
You lose Julius Randle, you got nothing down low. Even though he's a powder and a baby.
That's why the trade talks come up. They sort of kind of don't want the man. I like him, but he is a powder and a baby, and he checks out on games.
Yes, when he's not getting his way and stuff ain't going his way.
Exactly. So it might be a good idea while his trade value is high to use that and leverage it, because now, just like with the situation in Philly, you get rid of him, you don't have to get rid of too many other pieces. It could work. It ain't the best fit. I still think the best fit is Philly, but it could work. And actually, Julius Randle might be the trade piece. Now, who's going to have to step up at that point? It's going to have to be people like Obi Toppin. I don't have faith in him like that, but I'm just saying.
Obi Toppin,
listen, I don't have faith in a man like that. I'm just saying this could be a really, really easy trade. And again,
So you trying to say
Portland is going to lose on this deal, no matter who they pick up.
Trade New York losing a lot.
Well, I don't think that's the best fit, but if that were to be the case,
what do you believe is the best fit?
Philly.
Really?
Yeah.
Over Miami?
Yes. Yes, because Miami is the team that's going to have to give up the most in order to get them.
So you think
Philly is the team that's going to have to give up the least? Okay, some draft picks and maybe some cash consideration, maybe. I don't know. But they'd have to give up the least, in my opinion, in order to get them. That's why I think it's the best.
Only time would tell.
Sure.
I think he'll end up in Miami because that's where he want to go. But anyway.
You say, well, I mean, that the rumor is he wants to go to Miami. But if you're Miami, it's like, really, how much do you want to give up for him? That's the knock right there.
This is a generational talent. What you mean?
Okay, so, you're going to give up the whole bench and then work Jimmy and Dame to death? That's what you're going to do? To the point where you get to the Eastern Conference final again and you tired as hell and we see Jimmy like he was in the finals and can't do shit? That's what you want?
We ain't gonna go there about him being tired of the finals. I don't think that was it, but anyway, go ahead.
No, that's why I think out of those three teams, since those are the popular talking points, I think that Philly would probably be the best.
We'll see.
Nah, that's Dame. That's probably the main trade chip
left in the game.
Let me ask this briefly, since let's talk about some trades that already happened. Kristaps Porzingis to Boston. I think that is low-key one of the more interesting trades that occurred. I think that gives Boston a little bit of what they really, really needed is some scoring down low, something that they did not have. I just really, at this point, all I really wish is they get rid of the dead body of Al Horford and call it a day.
Wow. You just call Al Horford a dead body?
Yes.
He won a game for them one game at his age.
In a whole season, he won a game for him.
Oh, no, I ain't talking about the but the playoffs is the most important. He won a game for them.
The man's washed. Ooh, the man's washed.
Al, you hear this? It ain't me. It's him.
Yep, Al. Loves you in Florida, buddy. You're washed. I like the fact that they got Kristaps. I think that's going to add a whole new dynamic to their team.
So what would you do with Williams? You don't put him on the bench. That ain't happening. So you put Al on the bench?
Yes.
Williams at power forward?
Yes. Yes, I would. And actually, I would leave Williams at the center and have Kristaps playing my fourth. I trade him and Al Horford out. I mean, the man is damn near 7 foot, if not 7 foot, and can put the ball on the floor and can shoot. But you know, all that shit that Al Horford can't do no more.
Al Horford can shoot. He can sometimes put the ball on the floor.
So tell me, like all of the big names, free agents gone. We're left with trades. What's been the most interesting outside of everybody re-signing and a few of the sort of interesting trades? What's the most interesting trade to you?
Trade or just somebody moving?
Trade, free agency, whatever. Somebody on the move.
The most interesting to me was them paying motherfucking Fred VanVleet.
To go to Houston.
That shit was crazy, dude.
Well,
he got more money than Draymond.
The money isn't what really trips me out about it. That's not what really. What I'm really concerned about with that is how him and Jalen Green gonna mesh.
Man, you mean Udoka got that under control?
I hope so, because I'm not really sold on this Jalen Green cat.
Me neither.
So
let me ask you a question: Jalen Green, Fred VanVleet, who you think gonna be the guy who would say, well, if they got a problem, who they gonna back?
I guess you gotta be. Well, that's tough. I mean, do you back
the $130 million motherfucker? That's what you back.
Or do you back the young cat that you picked number 2 overall?
I back the $130 million motherfucker that I'm paying. Number 2 overall. Show me something else. Then I might back you. Show me something.
Well, Jalen Green in first 2 years, second year anyway, he's a 20-point a game guy.
Yeah, okay.
You're not getting that out of Fred VanVleet.
You don't think so?
No.
I think you will.
No, I don't think you will. Especially playing with him because the word on the street with regards to Jalen Green is he's a black hole. So the minute Van Fleet passes him the ball, the shot's going up.
Around. So my point is, you don't expect you pay a man $130 million over what 3-4 years?
I don't know that I didn't.
It's not something like that, but and you don't expect
whatever
him to
it
get
is
20 fucking points. You better get 20 points, otherwise we got to revamp that contract.
Listen, his career high was last season.
Yes,
that was 19.3 points per game.
And he wasn't the starter though.
No, I'm talking about Van Fleet.
Yeah, but he wasn't the starter.
In Toronto?
Yeah, he came off the bench, didn't he?
No, he was a starter. He was their starting point guard.
What, somebody got hurt?
No, Kyle Lowry left, and he was a starting point guard.
Look at it, man. $130 million, you better give me fucking 20 points.
He ain't never got nobody 20 points a game in his career.
This is his time right now.
Okay.
He can be the Brunson of fucking Houston.
Oh, we gonna see. We gonna see.
So let me ask you a question though. Why would you pay him so much if you didn't think he can do that for you?
Clearly they do. Clearly they do. But the problem is, I think they overpaid for him.
They may have.
That's the issue.
We're going to find out.
And I don't think that they're going to get the maximum out of him, especially when we get to talking about fit. And just the way I see it, I think there's going to be an issue between him and Jalen Green as far as distribution of the ball.
So you don't think Jalen Green gonna respect his veteran experience?
Like you say, that's gonna be up to you, Ime Udoka, because I heard it, I raised the eyebrow, and just shook my head and kept reading.
I think Ime Udoka is a great coach. I think he's gonna get this figured out, and they gonna. I ain't gonna say they're gonna make the playoffs, but they're gonna have a better record than they did this year.
They can't have too much worse of a record. Shit. The only people that were worse than them was us. So, and speaking of us,
battling for the bottom.
Speaking of us being the Detroit Pistons, of course, we're Detroit. Scratch that. I'm a Detroit Pistons fan. He just lives here.
I'm a basketball
fan. They haven't done. They made no splashes yet. And with free agency being what it is, it doesn't look like there's any splash to be made there. But trade-wise, I'm not even going to talk about the trades they made. They got Joe Harris and they got Monte Morris. I don't know why.
Because we live with the guards.
I do not understand.
We die with the guards.
On a guard-heavy team, why you go out and trade for 2 more guards. I don't get it. I don't understand it at all.
Let me piss off So right quick. You trade for Monte Morris. Monte Morris, because you want to use him in the trade to get Zion.
So about that, if you watch the show for any amount of time, you'll know the last thing that I want the Pistons to do is go out and trade for Zion Williamson, because I think that the kid is not as much as talented as he is. I do not believe that the man's heart is truly into the game.
Because where he at right now, he don't know. Maybe
I don't believe that his heart is into the game. Period. I believe he likes fucking porn stars more than he likes playing basketball.
Wow, dude.
But
don't bring that personal business to this.
But that's me. With all of that said, and the way free agency is gone, and the way these trade pieces are falling, Detroit, go and get Zion Williamson. Go and get him.
If you don't get,
go and get him.
If you don't get Zion, and I'm gonna say this, and you might disagree. What superstar do you have on it as a draw to lead your team?
As far as the person out there that has the highest upside is Zion Williamson. I get it.
He's got to stay healthy.
But that right there is the biggest red flag in the league.
But being a big man in the Pelican system, you gonna get hurt. Look at AD. That's part of their system.
No, that ain't got jack shit to do with their system, because AD only played about 45, 50 games when he was with the Lakers. So
because he's always hurt.
Because he's Mr. Glass. And Mr. Glass Jr. is Zion Williamson.
Who they both played for? Started came out.
That ain't got nothing to do with the Pelicans.
Look at man.
That has to do.
That's a
that has to do with
that curse.
them.
It's curse.
Now you're just making shit up.
If you're a big man, don't get drafted by the
Now
Pelicans.
you just making shit up.
I'm just saying. If you're a big man, don't get drafted by the Pelicans.
Anyway, that's enough of NBA offseason. No. I got one thing that I want to bring up real quick.
Sure.
About the NBA offseason. Summer League is going on right now. And they implemented, they're trying this out.
Flop.
A flop rule, a new flop rule. Where in game is one tech, one foul shot, and the ball. Let's just start there before I even talk about what the initial flop rule was back in the day. I think like 2012. Do you think, first off, that they're actually going to try and implement this into the NBA? Probably won't be this season, but say next season.
I think they will try to implement it. I think it's a bad move. I think it's a opinionated call when we talk about flops.
Just like fouls are. I mean, unless they're just utterly egregious.
That's a foul. But if you can take a charge, you're not gonna stand there and just like stumble back. You got to fall to the ground for them to get their attention. Now they might call that a flop though.
Well, guess what? As it stands right now, what they do in that same instance is they're either going to call it an offensive foul or they're going to call it a blocking foul, and it's still subjective. So it's always going to be subjective. Is my point.
That's my referees, man. To me, there's no perfect referee and there's no perfect art to it.
Absolutely,
they miss a lot of calls.
They do.
Should be called certain ways. They
like
get a lot of calls right,
but
it's just another objective way for them to control the game.
All right. Well, the way that they started to do or implemented back in 2012 was to start finding people.
Right.
How did that go? They ain't do it.
Nobody got fined.
Nobody got. I think one person might have actually got fined. I honestly, I think it was like Paul Gasol. I think like only one person got fined because it wasn't something that affected the game. If they look back at the tape and say, "Oh, he flopped here," they'd fine him like $10,000 or whatever it was.
Right.
But
so it's like the after.
It was right. It was sparingly. I think if 10 people in 10 years got fined, I'd be surprised. But now they got this. I'm for it.
You're for it.
I am all for it. Is it going to be subjective? Yeah, it's going to be subjective. But what I actually think is going to do, perhaps over time, is actually force these players to actually start playing real defense again. And I'm for that. I would like to see that happen. Instead of the Olays and the flops and the BS. Play D. D up. That's what I like to see.
I'll tell you, I do in NBA, I do miss the 1980s, 1990s defensive teams.
Yeah.
But you're never getting back to that.
We don't have to get all the way back to it, but at least there's a gulf of difference between what it was and what it is now. It's a big difference.
The way they changed the rules allowed for more scoring. We hadn't seen this much scoring over history in the past 2 years. So if you implement this defense, your scoring goes down, correct?
So outside of season, like 3 of the top 5 highest scoring seasons in NBA history, 4 of the 5. 3 were in the 80s and 1 was in the 90s. During this time where they played to hard-nosed defense. So the scoring doesn't necessarily have to drop because teams are actually playing defense.
I don't know. I don't remember nobody scoring on an average 140 points.
Hey, man.
Come on, dude.
Ain't nobody scoring on average 140 points.
I mean, not one team, but over every
I'm talking about
night, somebody's scoring 140 points.
And this is what I'm saying.
That's ridiculous.
Overall, the highest point total in NBA history, I think, actually occurred this year. and I think it was something like 117 points a game, average for all of the teams.
Right.
Prior to that, it was like 114, 113, and like 111, and that was in the 80s.
Right.
And then I think in somewhere in the 90s, it was like 112 or something like that.
But in the 80s,
overall,
in the 80s, you had well, not the 80s, but in the 90s, you had two defensive juggernauts. One at the beginning of the 90s, one toward the end. The beginning was the Pistons, then toward the end with the Bulls. Then you had that San Antonio juggernaut defense. Every year, or every 2 years, or every 1 year, you have one defense that is actually good defense.
Now those are
the rest of them are just.
But those are
Olay.
Okay. No, they're not. They weren't Olays.
The rest of
they just weren't as good as the other teams. They were still good defensive team. Indiana was a good defensive team. New York was a good defensive team.
Compared to what?
What do you mean compared to what?
Oh my God. Okay.
All of these in the 80s and the 90s, Indiana and New York weren't good defensive teams. No, Seattle wasn't a good defensive team.
Oh, you asked me a question? I said there's two elite defensive teams when it came to them eras. One started at the beginning of the season.
Okay.
Decade. The other had that decade.
Guess what? Those are elite and elite anomalies, like super damn good. Like
nobody close to them.
But that's not to say that there weren't still other good defensive teams in the league.
I get mad, but I don't know about good.
Moving on.
I get mad, but I don't know about good.
NBA, I hope y'all actually decide to implement this flopping rule and make it stick this time.
I say don't do it just for some league and let it go.
Let's talk about the NFL offseason. Not much popping. I mean, we're waiting on training camp. You know, the only thing that's really going on is making sure all the rookies sign their contracts and inconsequential things of that nature. But I want to bring up something because you've been gone for a couple of weeks.
Yep.
I want to bring up something that Franchise and I were talking about a couple of weeks ago. And it was true a couple of weeks ago, and it's true now. DeAndre Hopkins, Dalvin Cook still don't have teams.
No.
And Saquon Barkley still hasn't signed his franchise tenure.
Right.
Where do you think that these people are going to land?
I think Saquon Barkley going to stay with the Giants.
Okay, that's what franchise said.
He's going to sign that. He's going to sign that.
And I agree.
DeAndre Hopkins, he's not in no rush to sign, but he's pretty, in my opinion, you need to hurry up and sign because football,
we're getting close to training camp.
Training camp is about to come up real fast. Dalvin Cook wasn't in no rush to sign. He wants to be compensated for his talent, which he won't get as a running back. We already know how they playing him.
That sucks.
Close to the payment schedule. You know
the pay scale.
Yeah, the pay scale.
Yeah, they screwing him over.
So he needs to choose a team that's gonna give him the best opportunity to win. But as for him getting his money, that ain't happening.
So
Hopkins, I think he probably gonna end up Tennessee Titans. They need a dominant wide receiver.
They do.
They got the running game.
They do.
They got a pretty good quarterback. I said pretty good. I said great. And all they need is that receiver. So I expect him to end up probably in Tennessee or Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, huh?
Yep.
Him and Devontae Adams.
Yep.
Even though they're not sure about what this quarterback situation is going to be in total.
So with Devontae Adams and Hopkins, it makes it easy for him, don't it?
Yeah, but we don't know if Garoppolo could pass a physical, period, to even get on the field.
Well, he's injured. He probably won't.
So
they got the young
which,
kid.
if you remember in the little interview that D-Hop did, first thing he mentioned was having a viable quarterback. I don't know if Vegas got a viable quarterback.
We'll find out. But even to me, with Hopkins on one side, Adams on the other side, you just need a John Kitna, pretty much.
Somebody to manage.
A manageable guy who can get the ball in their vicinity because they gonna catch it if it's in their vicinity.
I'm with you. I'm sort of curious about this whole Jimmy Garoppolo situation.
I think he's leaning more toward Tennessee than the other team.
So,
but Dalvin Cook is
you're going to and franchise got on my head. I'll sit here and I'll take my lumps with this one. I said, yep. Saquon Barkley is going back to New York. He's going to sign a 10-year. He's going to New York. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I said that D. Hopkins is going to find himself. Ready for it?
I'm waiting for this bullshit, but go ahead.
In New England.
Man, stop it, dog. Stop it.
Oh wait, it gets better.
Jones?
It gets better. It gets better.
You better not say Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook going to New England.
Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen.
Now, they just got rid of their running back.
Yes.
So they're in need. We already know that's gonna make him the bell cow and the feature. And he's that dude.
He's not gonna end up in New England. It ain't gonna happen. First of all, they're not gonna pay him. They don't pay no fucking body.
Well, we already know that that's not happening.
But I'm not saying he's not gonna get his money. He don't get what he wants. But he gonna get damn near close to it. But he won't get that in New England.
I think he can get close to it. I think he can.
Yeah,
or at least adequate compensation. I say it that way.
Not in New England.
I think he can.
They don't pay.
I
they
think
remind me of the old Chicago Bulls. They don't pay. Chicago Bears. They don't pay.
I think at this particular point in time,
what makes you say
might.
What makes you say that Hopkins gonna end up there? I'm curious about that one.
I think that he's going to show up there because he knows he can actually play and make a difference for Belichick, who is a proven winner. And with that said, if one goes, that's going to be enticing for the other. So one is sort of kind of contingent on the other.
So first of all, do they have the cap space to get them motherfuckers? I don't think so.
They don't pay anybody, so I'm sure they do.
DeAndre Hopkins gonna get paid. Stop that one.
Well, I don't know if he's going to get paid like he wants to get paid, and we know that Dalvin Cook is not going to get paid like he want to get paid.
So if you DeAndre Hopkins, what you think his goal is? What's his final goal? Go Super Bowl, right?
Sure.
Win Super Bowl.
Sure.
That's people go.
Sure.
So if you're him, why not go to the Kansas City Chiefs? If we just
that's cool.
I'm talking fantasy and shit.
Right, and if we're doing that, so you gonna take that pay cut to do it?
You say
so you're gonna have to.
Of course.
There's a balance to this shit, and you know it. Yeah, I want the ship, but you ain't gonna give me a bargain basement prices in order for me to get this ship. So that's not happening.
If you're not gonna take bargain basement prices to get the chip, why would you take it to go fucking New England?
Because they can afford to pay you more.
They won't. We know how they pay.
Except for there are definitely some exceptions because they didn't undercut Randy Moss when he went there. Did they? No.
I'm gonna say this, DeAndre. He ain't no fucking Randy Moss.
and I don't disagree. But if they want it, they'll pay for it. If they want it. And like I said, if one goes, it could be enticing to the other because the team looks completely, the team will look completely different if one goes and then the other one sees it.
I don't see Hopkins in New England. I see him in Tennessee. That's what I said.
All right. Well,
and if we want to talk about dream team, fantasy teams, he really want to do some crazy shit, go to Cleveland.
Well, they can't afford shit because they're giving all their money to Deshaun Watson.
They got OBJ.
On some bargain basement shit.
Do they still have a shit? What was their number one receiver?
Who, Jarvis Landry?
Yeah,
no, he's in Miami, isn't he? No.
He might have left. He might have left.
I don't think he's there no more.
Well, OBJ on one side, Hopkins on the other, with Deshaun Watson throwing you the ball.
They're paying Nick Chubb minimum wage. They gave the OBJ, the $15 an hour, new minimum wage for McDonald's players.
New minimum wage. If you want the chip, if you really want the chip, go to fucking Cincinnati on the other side of fucking Chase.
Only reason why I wouldn't. It would be nice for if they're gonna use them as a year for a rental because Joe Burrow finna get paid, Chase finna get paid.
Yeah.
Now that if he gonna go there on some 1 year deals, $20 million, okay.
Shot at the chip, but he is getting being an older receiver, so he gets to that point where like, you know what? He's
you
gonna be on
generally don't make sense, but that actually makes sense.
He's about to be on that same trajectory as OBJ. 1 year here, I make a 1 year deal here, 1 year deal here. Get what I can when I can. So
that
start your 1 year deal now. Then go to fucking Cincinnati. Good
actually
defense, good
makes
offense.
Sense. He's getting
big
older. I don't think that he's washed. I think he got a whole hell of a lot left in the tank. But you're right, he is getting older. And if he wanted to do that, okay. Knowing though that if you don't get it, that's it. Because you back out in the wilderness next year.
Hey, a lot of receivers do that though.
I mean, it can happen. I
don't think OBJ's having up but 1 year with a second year option.
I'd have no idea. All I know is he got nowhere near what he was asking.
Of course not. And that's the future for DeAndre Hopkins.
All right. Last but not least, America, y'all know how we do every week around this time. Got to update you guys on the little wager that me and Whip here got.
Who's winning that wager so far? WIP. WIP.
Last time I told you guys about it, we got a $20 wager that the Tigers will win over 71 games this season. At present, they're 10 games under 500 and 5 games back in the division. And even more currently than that, they are getting their asses whipped
12-0.
12-0 by the absolute worst team in Major League Baseball this season.
It can't be the worst. Tigers might be that. They might be battling for
the Oakland A's.
They might be battling for that one.
It's not looking good for your man Soso. It's not. But in my defense,
let me tell you something. And I'm going to have him count on every penny of that money. Every
side note. If I do, and it's a big if at present, if I do lose this bet, I'm paying off this $20 in pennies.
I will count it out.
So you'll be able to see that show live somewhere in September.
Probably at a Lions game.
But there's a silver lining right here. Not so fast, my friend, as Lee Corso would say. We're starting to get our starting pitchers back. Eduardo Rodriguez
I get it.
Came back, although he did absolutely nothing tonight. He looked horrible tonight. Tarek Skubal came back yesterday, spun a gem. Riley Green is going to be back. Bullpen help. Bo Brisky's coming back. Akil Badu, another bat, coming back. We have literally been acting and operating as a triage unit all season. And in the next couple of weeks, probably right after like the All-Star break, we're going to have more of a complete team, not a full complete team, because we done got some more pitchers get hurt in the past couple of days. But we actually may be able, if they come back full strength and do what they were doing to start, we might actually be able to make a run. That's all I'm saying.
Make a run to what?
To 71 wins. I don't even give a damn.
Ain't
At
gonna
this point,
happen.
I don't even care about us being 5 games out of first place. I just need to not have to pay this man $20. That's all I'm saying. Nonetheless, sports fans, that has been
On my money,
sports
every single penny.
in layman's terms. And I'm sure that you've probably heard something idiotic on the show and think that we are bumbling idiots. Yeah, you probably said it. Nonetheless, tap in with us. You can catch us every Wednesday, 8 o'clock, youtube.com at Sports in Layman's Terms. You could also chime in with us on Facebook, Sports in Layman's Terms. Hell, go ahead and email us and tell us that we silly. What is it? Layman's Terms Sports at gmail.com. On behalf of the whole crew, myself, Whip Bayless here, TBD Joy, and the franchise.
I won't be here next week, but I'll be making my return the week after. And I'm planning we'll be on a lot more platforms by the time I get back.
This has been Sports in layman's terms. All pennies, motherfucker.
I want
all pennies.
I want Joey and Stretch Eyes here, and we're going to
all pennies.
We're going to see and count that out.
Good night.
Have a good night, folks.